then you will be able to be of the freeing yourself from any of these things you are thinking of the nastiness and not of the niceness. Then you will be able to exist in the fullness of the self. And you must be understanding that the fullness of the self is not of the sickness, is not of the struggleness, is not of the painness and of the worriness and of the fearness. These are just smaller aspects of your reality. The biggerness and of the fullness of your experience is of the expansive nature, is of the experience nature. Here you will be able to see the roller coaster for exactly what is the roller coaster. You will be seeing the merry-go-round for exactly what is of the merry-go-round. You will be seeing of the theme park for exactly what the theme park is. And all of the wisdomness and the knowledgeness and the understanding is available to you. None of it is of the keeping of the secretness. None of it is being keeping of the hidingness.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Eleni and Marcus for another episode of Galactic Guidance. Hello, Marcus.
Hello, Eleni. How are you?
I'm good. I love our conversations that we have. And so when we have these conversations, you channel beautiful message from your spirit mentor, Ameed, who resides on another planet. And so we truly do get galactic guidance. And it's always fascinating to hear a higher perspective. Is there anything you want to say on that?
No, I think that sums it up. What can you say?
Exactly what can you say?
It is what
So
it is, you know.
beautiful. So you're an unconscious channel, which means that you sort of go into this dream state when Amit comes through you and speaks through you. And so whenever you're ready to do that, let's see what she has to say today.
Yeah. Let's go with it and see what happens.
And so Marcus is easily able to connect into his spirit mentor, Ameed, because he's been doing this for 30 years. And go back to episode 1 to hear how he actually went on this beautiful journey of connecting to his spirit mentor. And it's a female energy that comes through. And let's hear what she has to say.
Tis much of the joyness that we are being in of this moment amidst of the Lenny. It is always of much excitement that we are hearing of this presentness to share with you of the information, of the knowledgeness, of the wisdom, because we are wishing for you to, or for the assistance to be awakening within you. Much of this information is of the remembering. For you to be of the remembering of the fullness of who you are being. Many of you are being of the forgetting, and we are always thinking this is a funny, but this is what is set up in this of the theme park. To have you being of the forgetting, so that you can be of the remembering and assisting of the expansion of the universal construct. This is much of the funness.
It is fun because we have forgotten who we are, and we then remember, and then we forget again, and then we remember, and then we forget again. And over the time, you have given us a few techniques in terms of staying in that remembrance and keeping our center and remembering who we are. So at this time when I still feel that many people are in the void, that they really haven't expanded into the fullness of who they are, what guidance can you give?
This is much of the goodness of the topic, because we are wishing to be speaking with you about this of the expansion. One of the reasons that we have been coming here is to assist in of the expansion, to provide you with the activation and of the remembering of this process of the expansion. One of the things that you must be of the remembering is that this of the expansion is not just inward of the journey. It's not just of a desiring of the journey to be in of the expansion, even though that deep within the fiber of your beingness, deep within of the energetic nature, the resonant frequency nature, but also in of the DNA aspect is codes to be of the driving you to be of the expansive nature. It is what you might call embedded in you when you are being choosing to come into of this theme park. But one thing that you might not be of the awareness is that the universe is being of the drawing you out into this space. The universal construct is providing of the opportunity and providing of the space and being of the encouragement. And many of you being saying that that they are feeling like they are being of the attacked, or they are receiving of the illness, or they are thinking that things are not of the fairness, and of the universe is being of the meanness and the nastiness to be sending experiences and rides within of the theme park that are not of the fairness and not of the niceness. But what you must be understanding is of the universal construct, there is no frame of reference for this of the niceness or of the meanness of what you might be understanding as the nastiness. This is not what is being of the held in the universal construct. This is but of the believing of the system, being of the ego of the system, of the mindscape of the system that you are being of the playing in. The universe is much of the encouragement to have you be in of the expansive nature. It is a creating of the space. It is drawing you out of what you might think of as the fear space, of the hesitation space, to ask you to be stepping fully into your expanded resonant self. Now, sometimes the universe is doing this in ways that you are thinking is of the naughtiness and of the nastiness. But in its divine energetic presence, it is just being of the creation of the space to allow you to be in of the expansive nature. When you be thinking back, and maybe you have said of the times that the universe is being of the mean and of the nastiness, but when you are through of the other side of this experience, you are saying that the universe is of the amazingness, and you are much of the gratitude for these experiences. So what you must be thinking in this of the moment is that the universe is coming to what you be thinking of a peak state to expand you into the fullness of the self. It is drawing you of the forwardness. It is asking you to be of the stepping forwardness and to be opening yourself up into of the expansion. Therefore, any of the things that you think are being of the appearing that you might think are not of the most nicest things are here to be of the supportive nature, the most of the supportive nature. And you may not be able to see of the reality in of the moment, but you must be understanding that the universe is always being of the creating of the spaceness. It is why that your science people think that the universe is continually expanding. This is the drawing of and the opening up of the spaceness for you to be able to filling in, for your consciousness, for your resonant frequency field to be filling into this of the spaceness. You think you are just standing here in the middle of this theme park, just you in the middle of a theme park, and the theme park is of the bigness, and that you are just the littleness in of the theme park. But what you have to understand is that you are not just the littlest in the theme park. You are of the theme park. You are of the universal nature. And therefore your bigness extends out into this space. It is not of the smallness. It is not of the individual, what you consider of the I-ness. You are of the fullness. And therefore, as the universe is of the expanding, then you must be also of the expanding. This is much of the bigness of the concept for you to be of the understanding. But if you are being thinking of it, if you are being feeling into it, you will be seeing that this is making of the senseness, Miss Eleni.
Yes, everything you've said makes sense. And I actually, when anything happens that doesn't appear to be a positive thing, I always know it's a positive thing. So no matter what circumstances occur around me, by this stage, I do know that everything that occurs is for my highest good and for the highest good of all. So I am aligned with that concept, and I am grateful. I really am grateful for everything that happens. I don't know, depending on the circumstances that occur as to whether I can keep that or not. But I am truly grateful for everything that is happening in and around me. I guess, is there anything else that you can add about leaving the void?
One of the aspects that you must be of the understanding, if you are to meet the expansion of the spaceness, you have to be ready to be creating of the spaceness, to be able to be of the stepping out of the voidness and into of the spaceness, which is of the reflection of the void. This is one of the most important aspects to be with, is that of the void nature is the creative space of everything that is being of the existing. It is one of the reasons that your science people think that everything started with this little particle of the voidness. This is not necessarily of the truthness, but the void is much of the importance to be in. This is where you can be of the expanding from. And in some of the aspects, your voidness becomes much of the biggerness, and you continue to be expanding into this spaceness, because what you will be finding in of the voidness is everything and nothing exists all at the similar of the timescape. So this is of the importance. But here you are being in the invitation of the expansiveness into of the universal construct. In doing this, you must be allowing space for you to be expanding into. Many of you are much of the holding on to of the belief systems, holding on to the emotional aspects, holding on to of the ego aspect that you speak of, Miss Eleni. You are holding on to many of the constructs of a three-dimensional experience. We are here to be of the assisting, of the guiding, of the awakening, activating, remembering, of your place in much more of the expanded dimensions of the reality scape. And many of you are starting to move into this space, but what you have to be of the understanding is that you cannot be in of this more expanded state of reality while you are holding more dense, lesser expansive of the belief systems, of the feeling systems, of the mindscape, of the heartscape, of every aspect of who you are, not just making of the space from a what you might consider of a practical nature and opening up of the diariness and giving yourself space, but you have to be awakening to, you have to be expanding to space at every dimensional level, at every energetic level of your existence. And this is much of a time of the quickening of this experience. You have not been presented with this of the invitation before this moment. This is of the specialness of the moment. This is of the sacredness of the moment. Once upon of the timeless, when you are what you are thinking of the ancient ones, or you are thinking of less of the awareness, less of the smartness. You are much in this place of the awakening and of the opening, and what you will find is there was what you'd be calling like of the hicking ups, and of the hicking ups turned the opportunity of the fullness of the expansion in of the opposite of the direction. But you are now in an opportunity to reverse this, to start that a process of the expansion. And as you are much of the awareness, Miss Eleni, this has much already started. This is not what you might call the turning point. This has already started. This is already well of the underwayness. This is already of the happening, because it has to be of the happening. The universe cannot be of the contraction. It can only be of the expansion. But you will see, like of the breathing, you'll have of expansion and of the contraction. But most of the emotion is of the expansiveness of the motion. But many of you are of the contraction. And when you are of the contraction, you are holding of your breath. You are not allowing the breath to be of the expansive nature. You are much of the holding on. And this is very much of the theme park concept and a theme park reality, that you are being holding on because you are of the worriedness and of the nervousness and of the fearness. And we would be asking you that as you are looking at the roller coaster, that you be jumping onto the roller coaster, that you not be sitting there being of the scaredness and of the frightenedness and being of the holding on. You need to be much of the experiencing every aspect of this of the theme park. You cannot be not experience these aspects, because when you are not being of the experiencing of these aspects, then it looks like you are being of the shrinkingness. But what is happening is, as you are being of this shrinkingness, or being of the holding on and not being allowing of the expansiveness, is that this is when you are being of the materializing things that you are thinking of, the yuckiness and of the not niceness. This is the universal invitation for you to be in of the expansiveness. And sometimes when you are in of this void nature, you will be finding that you are getting to a place where you have none of the options, where you are thinking that you have none of the options. Now, this is not of the necessary truthness, but it will be of the feelingness that I have no other option but to be of the expanding nature. And in some of the respectness, this is of the truthness, that you are here to be of the expansive nature. And therefore, when you are holding in the onness, and when you are restricting this of the expansion, then in some of the respects, you have not of the opportunity to do anything other than to then be in of the expansiveness. And these of the things that you are thinking of, the meanness and of the nastiness and not of the niceness, are the opportunities. These are the invitations. This is what you must be thinking and being of the remembering, that these aspects that come into your existence, come into your frequency field of experience, are invitations of the expansive nature of the universal construct. These are the invitations. And when you're being of the letting go, when you are being of the freedomness, when you are being of the breathing out, and you are in of that wonder of the expansive nature, then you will be able to be of the freeing yourself from any of these things you are thinking of, the nastiness and not of the niceness. Then you will be able to exist in the fullness of the self. And you must be understanding that the fullness of the self is not of the sickness, is not of the struggleness, is not of the painness and of the worriness and of the fearness. These are just smaller aspects of your reality. The biggerness and of the fullness of your experience is of the expansive nature, is of the experience nature. Here you will be able to see the roller coaster for exactly what is the roller coaster. You will be seeing the merry-go-round for exactly what is of the merry-go-round. You will be seeing of the theme park for exactly what the theme park is. And all of the wisdomness and the knowledgeness and the understanding is available to you. None of it is of the keeping of the secretness. None of it is being keeping of the hidingness. It is just being of the waitingness for you to be in of the spaceness, in of the expansive nature, to be able to be of the receiving and of the understanding and of the remembering and of the activation of this, of the information and the knowledge and of the wisdom of the universe. You are having access to all of this, Miss Eleni. It is timing then to be breathing into this space, to be opening up into this space, to be expanding your voidness and expanding into of this space and receiving of the invitation and being of the thankfulness for the invitation and meeting that invitation, whatever it is, being of the asking you to be of the meetingness, to be of the meeting the invitation and then expanding past the invitation, to be seeing of the threshold that it is asking you to be stepping of the into. This is much of the excitement.
So underpinning all of that, you've basically mentioned that, one of the blocks is that we continue to hold on to some beliefs that are still anchored into 3D. Using myself as an example so that we can get into this detail of exactly what you're saying, what are some of the beliefs that I'm holding on to that are still in 3D?
What you must be of the realizing is that many of you are holding on to many constructs that you think are of the realness but are not of the realness. And you are seeing that there are things that are being discovered and things that are being shifted and of the changeness, even in of the science nature of your reality, that there are different of the beliefs happening and of the unfolding to share a much bigger truth of the reality. So one of the things that you must be remembering, Miss Eleni, is that anything that you are holding on to as much of the truthness, much of the reality truthness, you must be prepared to be of the letting go of this truthness. You must be prepared to open up to another of the opportunity, another reality, a more expanded version of the reality scape. So even as you are thinking of certain things in this moment, what we would be asking you to be of the thinking is, what if I was to put on a more expanded outfit, a more expanded mindscape? How would this change of my reality? How would this change of my belief of what you'd be calling of the godness? How would this change my belief of what you're calling of the religion? How would this change of my belief of who I am in this of the moment, and who are my family, and who are my of the friends, and who are my country, and who is my leaders, and who is my existence? You would be expanding past many of these belief systems, and many of these structures that you have been of the creating. There is a collective creating of structures that are being expanded on and expanded in, and therefore you will be much of the moving through these concepts. So it'd be much of the helpful if you did not hold on to any of these concepts, too much of the hardness, and allow yourself to be expanding in and through and past these concepts. What you are, many are thinking that if I don't hold on to the concept and I allow what you are saying, Ameed, then the concept of my reality will just disappear and something else will appear, and I don't know what will be of the appearing, and now I am in of the fearness, because what if the thing I've been holding on to that has helped guide me through of my life experience has now been of the disappearing and no longer is of the existence? But what you will be finding is that this is also not of the truth. What you will be finding, and if you are being of the allowingness, you will be allowing that the fullness of even that experience will open up even of the moreness. So if you are thinking, and we are understanding that your, for many of you, that your religion of the godness is much of the importance. But even if you are thinking that and you are allowing of the expansion, what you will be experiencing is that relationship with of the godness, that emotional of the connection, that loveness that you are feeling will expand even much of the biggerness, even more of the fullness. It does not necessarily mean that what you are thinking of the godness disappears and that all of a sudden there are no such thing as the godness anymore and I have to think of some other belief. This is not of the case. So what you must be thinking is, when you are anchoring into any of the beliefs, that you are holding much of the strongness, that maybe you have been gifted from many of the others that have been in of your existence, in of your mother and of the father and of the grandmother and of the grandfather and of the genetic of the lineage. Even in that experience, you can now allow starting of the expansiveness of it. You can let go of the what you consider of the hardness and of the holding on desperately so that you do not lose this reality, and allow yourself to expand into a much more colorful version of the reality. To allow yourself to expand into, how could even the godness be even bigger and more amazing and more wonderful? But this is of the true nature of the expanding reality of the universe, that even those things that you are holding on to are even more amazing and of the beautifulness and of the colorfulness. But if you are continuing to hold on, then you are not being able to experience this expansive quality of everything that you are believing in and thinking is of the realness. And this is of the, regardless of whether this is of the truthness or not of the truthness. We are not here speaking in this moment of the ultimate of the truthness. We could be speaking of this ultimate of the truthness, but in some aspects, with some of these beliefings that you have, you are not ready to be of the fully embracing and fully of the hearing. This is time to of the comingness. This is you will be presented with of more of the truthness when you are ready to be of the embracing of the truthness. And in some respects, your expansive question and of the expansiveness that we are talking about is of the preparing you for more of the truthness, for more of the unfolding. It is much like that in this moment you are in of a theme park, and you are in of the gates of the theme park, and you cannot see outside of the theme park. But as you are being of the expansion, what you will see is the walls of the theme park expand with you. And you will see more of the theme park and more of the theme park. And you will see eventually that the theme park is going on forever and ever. And that all of the theme parks in all of the universe are connecting together. And you can be skipping from one of the theme parks to the other of the theme parks. And you will see just of the magnificentness of the theme park. And in the other theme parks, there are rides that you cannot even be of the imagining in this moment. But they are much more colourful, much more of the exciting, much more of the thrilling than anything that you can be seeing in this of the moment. So we'd be asking you just to loosen of the hold you have on some of these of the beliefs and be allowing yourself to expand into the fullness with of the understanding that the expanding of the fullness is even more amazing and beautiful and colourful, and maybe you'd be considering loving than you can even imagine in this of the moment. This is of the exciting. But we see so many thinking, oh, if I'm going to be of the expanding, then I must give up some things to be of the expanding. And we are saying, no, you do not need to be of the giving up of things. You need to be releasing of your hold of the things so that those things can be expanded into the fullness of who they are, what they are, so that then you see even more of the beautifulness of the colors, so that you allow of the godness to expand even further, even more fullness, that you allow all of these aspects that you are holding on to expand even more into the beautifulness, into the wonder. Oh yes, of the wonder.
Beautiful message. Thank you so much. Thank you for your guidance and your lovely message. I really, really am so grateful.
We are much of the lovingness. We are much sharing of the energetic quality of this, of the connection. And we are sending much of that energetic quality to you, that beautiful of the loveness as you speak of. And we are much of the joyness and of the happiness that we can be in this of the moment, for this is what we are here to be of the doing. And we have agreed to of the mission to be doing of this. This is not by of the accident. This is not by of the happiness. This is being in of the planning that we are agreed to be in of this moment. And if you are being here of the listening, then this is not of the mistakeness. We are here to help you to be of the expansive nature, the fullness of your resonant frequency field as you expand into a universe that is of the teeming with life. Much joy, much love.
Beautiful.
Oh. So, how'd we go? How was it today?
How are you feeling?
You're good. Yeah.
I guess today I feel a little bit different to how I usually do with the message. I feel frustrated.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good. Like it.
It's got to be good.
Yeah.
It's like Ameed is saying that we're still, the reason that many of us are still in the void is because we're still hanging on. We're still holding on to some belief systems. And
Yeah.
this really frustrates me because it's like I feel like, speaking for myself,
Yeah.
that I've done so much work in letting go of
Totally.
belief systems. And
Totally.
basically she's still saying that there's still more to let go of. And it's like, it's almost like, what else am I going to let go of?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because this expansion is, so in essence, right, the expansion is ongoing, right? We don't expand and then stop and then expand. It's an ongoing thing. So the letting go is an ongoing journey. That do you ever end in
No.
way and making space? And the key is making space. It's and it's a continual exploration into expanding into stuff. And so the letting go is balanced by the filling in, right? Of learning new things, of experiencing new things, and awakening to new things. And as you do that, then you realize the other things that need to go, or make space, or transform. So sometimes the letting go is not letting go, it's transforming, is my opinion, my
Yeah.
thought. I don't know whether I'm right or
Just
wrong, but
like from where I am, I just almost feel like I'm at, ground zero, and I don't know what else I can let go of. And that's why usually I have this really expansive, loving feeling when it comes through. But
yeah,
this time I'm just
it's okay.
annoyed,
Yeah, totally. Totally. sometimes it's like that, that we do get annoyed. And so sometimes it's just sitting there and expanding into more of the fullness. And I think so sometimes you can see, oh, they're the things I need to let go. Sometimes they're obvious, right? I got to deal with this issue and that issue and let go of this and let go of that and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's not as clear. And so when it's not as clear, you focus on the expansion with an awareness of, okay, so whatever I'm expanding into, I'm going to need to make way. So I'm going to let the expansion show me where I need to make way. And then it becomes clear.
Can you give an example, Marcus? Because I think that what you just said is really important, but
Yeah.
I still can't grasp
Okay.
the practical application of what you just said.
Yeah. So sometimes it's obvious, right, that there are things you need to let go of. We've all had that. And a lot of us have done lots of work on it, right? And maybe there's still a bit to go, who knows, right? Whatever. But in the absence of that clarity, then you sit in the expansiveness and you open up to, for example, what's my next step? What's my next fullness that I need to express on the planet or could express on the planet or whatever as part of my mission? And as you focus on that, what ends up happening is the things that need to move through, past, expand, change starts to appear. So then either you'll experience in roadblocks or things that are sort of, grating the wrong way, or, you might have those experiences of not being well or things appearing that look, like, damn, why is this coming up again type of thing. Or it could be gentle in that. It doesn't have to be something violent or, or bad or whatever we want to judge it as. But it will show you the things that need to change and shift to meet that expansion. So in your case right now, where you're sitting there a bit frustrated going, well, I think I've done everything. What else do I need to let go of? Then it's about sitting in the expansiveness and going, okay, what is that? What is that expansiveness? Am I being called to step into, move into, expand into? What is it asking me to expand into? What might that be? And as that starts to appear, anything that needs to make way for that will also start to appear. So even though you sit here going, I have no idea, I've done everything, right? Or whatever. I know you didn't say exactly that, but I've done a lot. And right now I'm sitting here going, well, what else do I do? Like, what other things do I deal with or address? Or, well, when you can't imagine that, right? Because they will be there, but they're not there right now because you're not maybe in the next expansive, or you're not sort of being in that space. So then rather than think of what do I need to let go of, think of what is that next expanded space? What is that next fullness of who I am? And the natural byproduct of that is, so for me to be in that, I have to let go of that, or I have to, transform that. And that will appear because you can't expand into the next state until you make space for it in this state. That's my sort of understanding of it. And those things will either appear gently and softly and little bit, or they'll appear big and abrupt and violent, or whatever you might think it is. Pain, anguish, sickness, illness, I don't know. It'll appear whatever way it'll appear for you that you need it to help you to move.
And another thing that I think was important that Ameed said was that it's not about letting go of those things. It's just about letting go of the grip. And I think that's a really important differentiator.
Yeah. Because I think the expansion is all encompassing. It's not just us as individuals expanding. It's all parts of us expanding. So I think sometimes we think, wow, I've got to let go of, I don't know, that attachment to my father's blah, 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 whatever, right? My mother's thing. And I've got to let that go. But maybe it's not about that. It's about going, okay, how can I get that to expand as I expand? How can I get that vision or belief or understanding or whatever to expand with me? Rather, because I think we do battle a lot with trying to let go of things, and I think in that battle, we end up realizing, well, we can't really let go of it because it's just part of who we are and it's part of my journey. And, I think sometimes the letting go, we think that by letting go, I'm not going to have the memory. It's all going to disappear. It's all going to be roses. And that's not what happens, right? The thing still exists. The way you were treated, the whatever happened to you still exists. So I think we allow it space to transform into whatever it needs to be next, the next most colorful version of that thing. And then everything expands together. We don't actually leave anything behind or sort of really let it go or destroy it or delete it, or we actually allow it to expand with us into a new reality.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful new perspective, which is we don't have to kick it to the curb. We just allow it to expand with us. We just let go of that grip. So a good question to ask, you know, for the audience to listen to and to ponder on and to journal on is, what are you holding on to really, really tight in your life that perhaps you can just loosen the grip, not delete it out of your life, not let go of it completely, and allow it to expand with you into the next stage.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that you have a new perspective or reality or belief or a new color or a new, expanded version of it.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Yay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marcus, for once again bringing through Ameed.
Thanks for
And,
facilitating.
what a beautiful episode. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.